Have you ever heard of a company called Blackrock? Chances are you haven't, but it's a company that, believe it or not, rules a huge part of the world. Most banks in the US, controlled by Blackrock. Big pharma companies, owned by Blackrock. The media you read and watch? Yep, that too is mostly under Blackrock's umbrella. This company even influences about 10% of all the stocks traded globally. And now, they're expanding their reach into governments. With a staggering $10 trillion in assets, Blackrock is half as big as the entire US economy. It's become so important that even the US and China turn to Blackrock for help in tough economic times. The guy in charge, Larry Fink, sits on boards of major global councils, shaping world policies. It's wild to think Blackrock reached this level in just 34 years. But why haven't you heard of them? There's a reason for that, which becomes clear as you learn more. Understanding Blackrock's rapid growth helps us see its impact on big events, like Russia's move into Ukraine, and even why gas prices and the cost of living are going up. So how did Blackrock become such a powerhouse? It all started with Larry Fink. Born into a wealthy family in Los Angeles in 1952, Larry always wanted to be powerful. He first tried politics, studying political science at UCLA. But soon, he realized the real power lies in money, not politics. He switched to banking and real estate, rubbing shoulders with influential people in college. Fink joined a secretive group, Kappa Beta Phi, with members like Michael Bloomberg. He used these connections to start a career at First Boston, a big investment bank in New York. There, he made a huge impact, earning the company over $1 billion and becoming one of its top earners. But Fink's path wasn't smooth. In 1986, his risk-taking backfired. He lost $100 million of the bank's money in just a few months, ruining his reputation and getting him kicked out of First Boston. But he didn't give up. Using this setback as a lesson, he focused on managing risks better. In 1988, with help from his old college connections, he started Blackrock. The company grew incredibly fast, skyrocketing from $5 million to $8 billion in just 5 years. Blackrock's journey wasn't without its struggles, though. There were internal fights over who would control the company. In 1995, Fink pushed one of the co-founders to sell their part of Blackrock for $250 million, a share that would be worth $12 billion today. After this power struggle, nothing could stop Fink. He grew more influential, and his ambition saw no limits. In 2008, a bomb exploded in the form of the worst financial crash since the Great Depression. It was a crisis that shook the whole world. People who've been trading stocks for years said they'd never seen anything like it. The price of oil was changing so fast, and the economy was heading into a serious recession. This meant big changes were coming for most Americans' way of life. Larry Fink was actually in control of a big part of this crisis. He had created mortgage-backed securities, which were a major cause of the crash. But Larry knew this crash was coming, and because of that, Blackrock, his company, was ready. While others struggled, this disaster was actually a chance for Larry to shine. He was one of the few people who could help fix this mess. With his connections, like his friendship with Treasury Secretary Timothy Geithner, Blackrock got a huge job, managing the assets of several banks that had failed during the crisis. This was a big win for Larry and Blackrock, making them even more powerful in the financial world. But for Larry, this was just a step towards a bigger goal. So how did Larry start influencing governments and the global economy? Blackrock made a smart move by starting to offer something called ETFs. These are investment funds that put money into lots of different companies in a certain area. They became really popular because they were stable and had good returns. Blackrock quickly became the biggest name in this new market. They were everywhere, managing money for huge banks and even small retirement funds. Blackrock began to have a say in almost every big company you can think of. You'll often see Blackrock's name if you check who owns these companies. Larry also understood how important technology would be in the future. That's why Blackrock spent a lot of money to build a supercomputer called Aladdin. This wasn't just any computer. It could predict which investments would be profitable. Aladdin ended up managing more than $20 trillion in assets for Blackrock. To give you an idea, that's more than the total economy of the United States. With all this money and power, Blackrock started to have a huge influence over the economy. They became so important that they couldn't be separated from the governments themselves. In 2008, the US Federal Reserve chose Blackrock, a huge investment company. to help manage its money during the tough times caused by the coronavirus recession. This move really helped Blackrock grow even bigger. Its boss, Larry Fink, became super rich and powerful, not just in the finance world but globally. He's got a lot of say over things like what's popular, what countries do, and how banks run. He's so influential that even world leaders listen to him. BlackRock looks after assets that are about 10% of the world's total economy, which is a lot. They have investments in all sorts of industries: media, banks, oil, and even weapons. One big way BlackRock has power is through the media. They own parts of big media companies like Fox, CBS, Comcast, which runs NBC, MSNBC, CNBC, and Sky, and even Disney. This means these media companies have to check with BlackRock before making big decisions. And it's the same with big tech companies. BlackRock is a major investor in Google, Facebook, Twitter, Amazon, and others. Because of this, BlackRock has a big say in over 90% of the media, which might be why you haven't heard much about them. Controlling the media helps them stay powerful and unnoticed. Now, with the economy not doing so great, BlackRock is buying a lot of houses and real estate, which is making house prices go way up. They make more money when people rent homes instead of owning them. But BlackRock's influence is now being challenged by other countries, like China. In 2020, China let BlackRock into its mutual fund industry, which means BlackRock can invest in Chinese companies. This is a big deal, because it includes companies that the US isn't okay with, like Hikvision, which is known for human rights issues. A lot of the money BlackRock is investing in China comes from regular people's pension funds and bank accounts. People don't really get a say in this, and many don't even know it's happening. BlackRock investing in countries with different political systems can affect democracies in the West. They've even suggested that their investors put more money into China. This could shift power and influence towards China, and BlackRock's role in this is significant. Since they started investing in China, they've been putting more and more money there. Aladdin might think this is a smart move, but it could lead to a big change in global politics and the balance of power. Around 2018, when people started paying more attention to political correctness, Larry Fink, the head of BlackRock, wrote a letter to companies. He said they should help society, or BlackRock might stop supporting them. He mentioned that nowadays, people expect companies to do good for society. But this is a bit odd coming from BlackRock, because they're involved in some controversial stuff. They're investing in places that are tough on Muslims and imprisoning people in China. They're also supporting a government that's causing trouble for Western countries. Because of BlackRock's push for companies to do good, there's now something called an ESG score. ESG stands for Environmental, Social, Corporate Governance. This score is like a rating for how well a company is doing in being responsible about the environment and social issues. For example, a company like Nike might get a good score if they promote exercise or avoid talking about sensitive political topics. Companies show off their ESG scores to attract investors. This ESG scoring system is kind of made up. It says if you talk about being environmentally friendly or support carbon credits, you get a higher score, which makes investors more interested in your company. Big investors, like insurance companies, now look at these scores and prefer investing in companies with good ESG ratings. The thing is, BlackRock is getting more control over our daily lives. Larry Fink has connections with government leaders worldwide, and BlackRock has a big say in groups like the World Economic Forum and the Council on Foreign Relations. This means they're becoming more powerful, and it looks like they'll keep growing. So BlackRock might be a sign of how the world is changing. Big companies like them are getting more power than even countries. Our politics and society aren't just about what people vote for. Big investment companies like BlackRock influence them. Did you know BlackRock, a colossal firm, influences major banks, media, and even global policies with its $10 trillion in assets? It's a fascinating tale of power and finance. Curious to learn more about how BlackRock shapes our world? Hit like and subscribe for more eye-opening stories like this.